But for individual people, all this overwhelming information, this glut of information, leads to stress, to confusion, and in many cases to cynicism. People are forced to think on the run very quickly, and within just a few seconds they will make up their mind whether this message is for them or not. We reject 90% of what we hear as being irrelevant to our lives, and we make that choice within just a few seconds. But in the face of that, many leaders fail to communicate because we use what I call the injection method of communication. The injection method says this: if I can just find the right words, the right medicine, and put it into the right syringe, the right medium, and inject it into my audience, people will automatically understand what I'm talking about. Now, there are two wrong assumptions in that. The first one is this: people are just blank slates on which I can write anything I want. Now, some of you might look like blank slates this morning, but the fact is you came into this experience with your own background, your own education, your own heritage, and you sift what I say through the framework of all of the above. We are not blank slates when we come into the communication process. The other wrong assumption is that words have meanings in themselves. Actually, my words have no meanings at all in themselves. I could be speaking to you today in German. Guten Tag, meine Freunde. Wie geht's? Wir haben gute Gemeinschaft, ja? You don't understand, most of you, a word of what I'm saying. My words have no meaning to you at all because they don't line up with your heritage or your education or your culture. It's the audience that gives meaning to the words. So it's not what your words do to the audience that counts. It's what your audience does to the words that counts. The injection method is present in nagging, which, contrary to popular opinion, is not something that is solely the prerogative of the female of the species, because some male leaders are very good naggers too, constantly banging on about the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, and then totally frustrated because no one's actually getting it. It's because they've used this injection method. There's no ownership, there's no possession, there's no interaction, there's no nothing is taught till something is learned. Another example at the other extreme of social life is terrorism. There's no persuasion, just threats of reprisals. That's why terrorists get increasingly frustrated and more violent, because there's no ownership in the message they bring. Real communication, friends, speaks where people listen.